Today we have a true star at Coastal Carolina University and in our community. Who is he? You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're in the Design Center at the Stone Temple in the Industrial Park behind Myrtle Beach Lighting. We're focused on student affairs at Coastal Carolina University, and we're visiting with its dean, the dean of students. Good morning, Dr. Lloyd Holmes.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for coming in early on a Monday morning.
Glad to be here.
It is great getting you in. You know, it's amazing.
It's kind of
what about
early.
this play? It is early. It is early. What about this design?
Oh, it's wonderful. I wish I could take some of this stuff home with me.
It is. It is. It is gorgeous, and it just goes on and on. It keeps going back. They've got a huge warehouse in the back. It's gorgeous in here.
Yeah, it's just exceptional.
It is.
Exceptional.
It is. We'll be interested all week long. We got some fascinating guests tomorrow morning. Banana Jack Murphy,
Wow.
formerly of the radio, now on CW21. He hosts River Talk for the last 10 years. He'll be with us. On Wednesday, we've got a fascinating guest talking about juvenile diabetes research and the Research Foundation there. And then, interestingly, on Thursday, we've got the unofficial historian of Myrtle Beach, Dr. Jack Thompson, who recently got an honorary doctorate from Coastal Carolina University.
That's right. That's
Dr.
right.
Jack Thompson. On Friday, we've got a fascinating guest, John Palmer, who for 40 years was with NBC News, for 7 years with the Today Show. A very interesting guest, and of course to kick off the week with another doctor, Dr. Lloyd Holmes. That's a big deal.
Well, I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, it's a great week. You know, of course. Are you originally from the area? The show's Carolina People, and you're obviously living in the Carolinas now, but are you originally from this area?
I'm originally from Mississippi. I've been in South Carolina about 2.5 years now. I came in September of '04 from Mississippi. Born and bred there.
Born and bred. And you went to school there in Mississippi?
Went to school there, went to the University of Mississippi and did all of my degrees at the University of Mississippi. Worked there for approximately 12 years.
Really?
And then I came to Coastal.
So you got 3 degrees there and worked there for 12 years prior to coming to Coastal?
Certainly did.
Wow.
Certainly did.
And the University of Mississippi's in?
University of Mississippi is in Oxford.
Okay. Okay. Does it have branches like University of South Carolina or UNC Chapel?
It certainly does. There's a medical center in Jackson, Mississippi, so all of our medical professions are there. And then there are 2 satellite branches of the University of Mississippi, one in Tupelo, Mississippi, and one in Olive Branch.
Okay. Okay. So it's principally those 4 locations.
Certainly.
Those 4 locations.
Exactly.
What's that like being a doctor, Lloyd? I mean, you're Dr. Holmes. Isn't that cool?
Well, but you know, I think for me, I think it's very important that I don't allow that to define who I am. I think that quite often we may find that we earn that degree and then that shapes who we are. But so I really never think about what it feels like to be, you know, for people to call me Dr. Holmes, because typically I tell people that when I was born, my mother gave me a name. That's who I am, and I've got to define really to people what this doctorate means, and I put forth a whole lot of effort to not let that define who I am.
I think I saw the doctorate was in philosophy of educational leadership.
That's correct.
So that, now, do you encourage students to call you Lloyd, or do you still, I mean, they normally would go by Dr. Holmes?
You know, I think that so many students these days see you know, the doctorate as something that's to be respected,
right?
That it's earned, and so that title is earned.
Right.
I never say to a student, you know, you have to call me doctor.
Sure.
That's not what's important to me. Students just naturally do that. You know, with my staff, I tell my staff to call me by my first name.
Sure, the one your mother gave you.
The one my mother gave me. I'm proud of it.
And it's Lloyd.
It's Lloyd.
Yeah. My Christian name's not Greg, it's James. But I'm glad they don't call me James. But Lloyd is your first name.
Lloyd is my first name, and I'm proud of that name. So.
You still have family in Mississippi?
I do. I'm the only one in South Carolina.
Oh, come on. No one's branched out?
I packed my bags and moved here. My mom, my brother, and quite a bit of my close family is in Mississippi. Now, of course, my nearest relative is in Atlanta. So really, I'm out here by myself.
Yeah. What prompted that move in September '04?
You know, after I had gone to school, all that time, I'd always said that because I wanted to grow personally and professionally, once I completed the doctorate, I was going to move somewhere, wherever the opportunity was. And I applied for a position at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, applied for a position here, and I came here, interviewed at Coastal Carolina University. The first time I had been to South Carolina.
Is that right?
For
your interview here at Coastal?
For my interview at Coastal. And once I came to the campus, just fell in love with the campus. Fell in love with the people, and there were so many opportunities with the campus. So when I was offered the position, I didn't have to hesitate. I told my mom that I was leaving. So
you said does your mother live in Oxford, or she's close to Oxford?
She's close to Oxford. She lives about an hour away in a little town called Houston, Mississippi.
Houston, Mississippi.
So when I tell people I'm originally from Houston, they're
like, "Oh, wow,
Texas,
big city, big city."
No,
weren't the
Houston, Mississippi.
That's wild. Is Houston, Mississippi still a pretty good sized city in Mississippi? Or
Houston, Mississippi has probably about 5,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
it's a very small town.
Texas,
not nearly like Houston.
Have you ever been to Houston, Texas?
I have. My best friend lives in Houston,
Is that
Texas.
right? Yeah, I was thinking, what's that like if you grew up in a Houston and you visit another Houston? It must be funny.
It is. And
your best friend's there. You mean your best friend from growing up in Houston, Mississippi?
I met my best friend while I was at the University of Mississippi, and we became very close during my undergraduate years, and we maintained that closeness. And so yeah.
That's amazing. You think about earning your first degree, and as you said, you want to make sure that your degrees are not who you are or don't make up who you are, but getting your first degree, I think I saw it was in accounting or in accountancy.
That's exactly right. I, of course, when I started in college, I wanted to be an architect.
Really, an architect?
I did.
It started with an A, so you just went to accounting.
Exactly. And and of course, when I was working on this degree in architecture, my freshman year, I was one of these kids who had, been able to sit in the classroom, listen to the teacher, and make an A in the classroom.
Oh, come on, you jerk. That's right. You were that kind.
I was that kid in elementary, junior high, and high school.
Right.
And when I got to college, my freshman year, I was having to take physics for this architecture class, for the architecture program. And my first semester, the only thing I studied was physics. I got a B in physics and a B in everything else. So I had a 3.0 my first semester. Well, and of course I was just devastated.
All
like,
A's.
Oh God, my mom's going to see my grades and flip out.
Yeah, sure.
And then the second semester, I was studying nothing but physics. And so I said, I'm not going to do this. I am not going to do it. So I dropped the class, changed my major to accountancy.
Well, no, so you needed physics for architecture?
For architecture.
I am clueless. I would have never gotten through any of that. Could have been an architect or an accountant.
You have to know how much concrete you need to hold up this 15-story building. So.
Good point. That's right. Physics is involved. I love it. Now, in dealing as Dean of Students, do you deal with students about their academic affairs, Dr. Holmes, or do you mind if we call you Lloyd? You're on air at 7 a.m.
That's perfect.
Mondays,
Okay.
So we'll have to start with Lloyd.
I'm not at work, so call me Lloyd.
It's a little warm in here, but this place is beautiful, but it is a little hot in here. It's all these fancy lights on. I know.
I'm surprised that it's this warm this early in the morning.
I know, that's true, on a Monday morning. What about, do you get involved with their academic affairs? Is it principally you're a vehicle, a support mechanism for them, or what exactly does the Dean of Students do at Coastal Carolina?
It's very important that as the Dean of Students, that I stay connected with students and stay connected with the campus. Now, primarily, I deal with non-academic issues, but there are times when something academic occurs, and I have to connect with individuals on the academic side of the campus.
Right.
There are times when students are having academic difficulties where they come to the dean of students and expect you to be able to provide them with an answer. So you get involved with the academic people merely in trying to assist students in their needs. So
that's interesting. So it just depends.
It depends.
It really depends.
It depends. One of the great things about the job is you have a job description, but you go to campus and every day your day is different.
Every day.
Every day your job is different because you just never ever know what you're going to encounter with students.
That's a great point. If a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, is there a good phone number for someone to call to learn more about Coastal or to learn about student affairs, the dean of students? Is there a good website for someone to visit?
I would welcome people to contact my office. My number is 843-349-4161.
Okay, good.
That number again, just in case somebody's trying to find an ink pen.
Absolutely, that's right. Good thinking. Thank you. I need to be repeating it, but I'll let you do it. Good.
It's 843-349-4161. 4161.
Okay.
Our website is www.coastal.edu.
Okay, coastal.edu.
Coastal.edu.
That's the one people should be able to remember. Of course, I guess most universities, most colleges use that .edu.
Certainly.
Right. And then, of course, I think you mentioned before we started filming, if someone wanted to send you an email, the lholmes@coastal.edu.
LHOLMES.
That's right, HOLMES.
Don't leave out the L.
That's right, don't leave the L out. That's exactly right.
Either one of them.
We got to get that right. Thank you for pointing that out. The great thing is I noticed recently, and I think I saw a picture of you and a group of students at the airport. You all went on a trip. Was it to build a habitat house, I think?
I serve as the advisor for this group on campus called STAR, Students Taking Active Responsibility.
Good.
And that's a volunteer services organization on the campus. And, that group of students, I mean, they're just a phenomenal group. Well, they're doing all types of service projects. One of the things that they did was to help out the Waccamaw Animal Rescue Mission.
Good, yeah.
Which is warm.
Right.
They babysit for DSS, and I mean, just quite a few things. Well, one of the things that they did back in December was to go to North Fort Myers, Florida, to do a habitat build down there. So we were down there for about a week during the Christmas holidays.
Building a Habitat for Humanity
Building Habitat for Humanity homes down there. We worked on 3 homes while there.
Really?
And so typically that group will plan an in-country trip, and then we'll plan an out-of-the-country trip. Well, during spring break, for 10 days, we went to Chile. Chile. Let me pronounce it correctly.
That's Chile. Right. Chile. I just think
keep saying Chile.
Put on dogs. That's right. Yeah.
So we went there for about 10 days.
Right.
And worked on houses down there. It was just the most fabulous experience I've had.
Really.
It was one of those experiences that really forced me to think about who I am and what it is that I contribute to humanity.
To humanity. Wow, those are big words.
So it was
the trip to Chile forced you to really focus on who you are and what you as a person contribute to humanity.
It certainly did. I went down there thinking that the 11 students that I was going with, I went thinking that, okay, I'm going to go and serve as the advisor, make certain that they do whatever it is that they need to do, and make certain that they're safe.
Right.
And once I got there, we had journaling experiences.
Good.
And you go down and you really realize how much you take for granted. And then, of course, being in that area, they speak Spanish, and of course, I probably no hablo español. That's about the extent of the Spanish that I know.
Right.
And so being in a country where you can't speak the same language as other people, or the majority of the people that's there, you really have to figure out how can you connect with someone who's different from you when you really need to make a connection.
Right.
And we were able to make connections with those people. One of the most touching things that happened to me was this guy who spoke no English. He came up to me the day before our final day and said, "You're my brother."
Wow.
And it was such a moving experience for me that I got back to our hostel, our hotel,
right.
and it forced me to really shed a tear because it was such a moving experience.
That almost did for me just when you said it, because you think about the immense poverty or other things down there.
You know, and then the day that we left, he had been wearing this wool cap the entire time we were there.
Right.
And he came up to me, he put his arm around me and said, "You're my brother," gave me this wool cap. And, you know, and when I think about, you know, this man who's making $400 a month,
right.
you know, he gave me what he had. And it really forced me to say, what am I giving to people? So
that's powerful.
It was a great experience.
Very powerful.
Great experience.
And these were principally, or all were members of the Students Taking Active Responsibility?
They were all members of Students Taking Active Responsibility.
Right? That's great. Is this a group that kicked off after your arrival at Coastal, or is it something that's been there for quite a while?
They have been there for some time.
Right.
I think that in the past couple of years, this group has become more and more active on campus. You know, they are doing so many service projects. It's just unreal. Recently, we had a Relay for Life on campus.
Good.
This group was the group that coordinated that.
Right.
Of course, they set a goal to raise $17,500 and raised about $35,000.
Oh, come on.
They did.
Oh, come on.
They did.
For the Relay for Life?
For Relay for Life. It was just unbelievable.
I think I saw some of the STAR folks just 48 hours ago when we were out at Coastal this Saturday for the Horry County Walk America for the March of Dimes.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Coach Bennett, you know, the honorary chair, and Mark Mitchell were working so hard to make it a successful weekend. I know the president was out there this weekend.
That's right.
I've even seen you. I mean, it was such a tremendous crowd. A lot of Coastal folks out there.
That's exactly right.
And a lot of folks working to save babies.
That's right. That's right.
I think I saw some STAR folks out there walking.
You did.
The 3-mile campus through walk. It was beautiful out of there.
You know, any type of service projects that occur on campus, they get involved in it.
Right.
You know, and it's just so amazing to see so many students who want to give back.
Oh yeah.
And it really speaks to you know, the type of students who are enrolled at Coastal Carolina University.
There's a lot of things that kids ages 18 to 21, 18 to 22, or 17 can get into, and making that commitment to serve others is one they probably find more enlightening, more exciting for them than any fraternity or sorority party they may have gone to, or any other campus social event that they easily could have attended. Not to take anything away from great social as well as service fraternities and sororities, but at the same time to recognize there's a lot of other great organizations on campus.
You know, and one of the things that's so exciting about being at Coastal, you know, I think that we as a campus really have to figure out what it is that we can do to meet whatever needs the students have.
Right.
You know, we have some students who really need a social outlet.
Yes.
There are some students who want to do those community service projects.
Right.
And so as a campus, we really put forth a whole lot of effort to meet those needs. And, you know, those students who are in those social organizations, you know, I'm just absolutely thrilled, even with our Greek letter organizations.
Good.
You know, they did a canned food drive for Step Up.
Yeah.
You know, where they raised over 5,000 cans.
Oh, come on.
They did.
Valerie must have been thrilled.
Oh, she was. She was. They had this competition called Canned Food Castles, and they built castles with the canned goods and had over 5,000 cans.
John Stamey turned in a picture. Dr. Stamey, who's in the computer science department out there, who writes our internet column,
he's very active,
turned in a picture of the Delta Chi organizations, one of the social fraternities, and some of the cans that they'd collected, and very exciting to see students getting involved.
That's exactly right.
Really getting involved in a positive fashion.
Exactly.
You know, had you ever thought when you were joining or getting into the University of Mississippi back there as a freshman, even at that time when you were contemplating being in architecture, that you would one day be working for a university, if not even that university? Of course, you were there for 12 years in a...
I just never thought that's the direction that my life would take.
Right.
But you know, when I was working on my undergraduate degree, I was very introverted. And so my junior year, I decided that I wanted to become a resident advisor because I knew that, that I needed to move out of that. And I began to work in student housing, began to do some volunteer stuff on campus, and my mentor, who is gone now, she passed away from lung cancer. She really, one of the things that she did, she worked in the Counseling Services Center, and I did some volunteer work for counseling services, and she sort of took me under her wings, and really, I mean, she had such an impact on my life that I said, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to live my life surrounded by college students. Because I mean, I saw what she did, and I said, this is what I want to do. So it sort of changed my direction.
A lot of folks really pull from that. You know, my father's been teaching law since 1950. Continuously since '56, but he's been in that classroom. He's almost 80 now, Lloyd, and the excitement for him being around law students every day during the week for, you know, the 9 months of the year that Duke is in class, the excitement for him to be interfacing with students is, and of course they're a little bit older, but not much. It's a thrilling thing. It really keeps him going and growing and getting stronger every day. It's amazing.
That's right.
And you get the same thing out of it, don't you?
I do. I really do.
How's your mom feeling about that? A, your move from Mississippi to South Carolina, and B, working in a college environment rather than being an architect.
I think my mom is extremely proud. You know, I grew up in a single parent home. My father died when I was 9 months old from an accidental gunshot wound. Oh no! And so my mother chose to not remarry because she just didn't want her sons to have a stepfather. I guess growing up, you know, she always wanted us to do what would make us happy. And she always said, whatever it is you do, I want you to be the best at it. And whatever that is, your mom's going to be proud. So and when I decided that I was going to leave accounting and go into something else, she says, I want you to be the best that you can possibly be at it.
That's great.
And of course, when I got ready to move, you know, my mom, my brother, and I are extremely close.
Is that right?
Extremely.
Your brother's still there, as you said.
He is. And when I got ready to move, she said that, I mean, everybody was thinking, you know, what is your mom going to do? And she said to me one day when I was telling her that everybody was asking me this, she says, you know, if you got in your car, got hit by an 18-wheeler, and I lost you as a result of this automobile accident, she says, your mom would have to go on. And she says, you know, it really won't be any difference. You know, the only difference is that you won't be able to come to my house every Sunday to eat dinner because I call her every day, or she calls me to find out, why didn't you call me today?
Is that right? Even now? Yeah. Y'all are communicating daily.
Even now. So, I mean, it's daily communication going on. So,
that's right.
So she's fine with it.
Do you get to talk to your brother much?
I do.
Good.
I do.
Yeah.
He and I talk several times.
And your best friend in Houston, Texas. That's right.
Yeah.
So keeping good bonds there, and that probably enables you to continue to communicate not only well, but even better with students.
Certainly.
Because you keep that open pipeline with your mother, your brother, and your best friend. Probably much like students, ages 18 to 21, are communicating with their parents,
certainly,
their siblings, and their best friends back home, wherever they are.
You know, and I think that because of that connection that I have with family, you know, when I moved to South Carolina, there hasn't been a time that I've felt like I was out here alone.
Right.
Because, you know, moving, you know, 11 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, you
can't get home for Sunday lunch.
You can't go home for Sunday lunch. You know, but I've never felt like my family wasn't close.
Right. Right. How are you feeling about the David DeCenzo edition and his moving into the presidency? That's a pretty exciting feeling around campus. You know, the professoriate.
I think it's just so very exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I think that with him coming in, you know, there's quite a few ideas that he's mentioned.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's just going to be exciting for the campus. I think with the new administrative structure with him and Dr. Eddie Dyer, I think it's just going.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be exceptional for the campus.
Right.
Exceptional.
We love Eddie. Eddie's been on the show before. We saw David out this weekend at the walk. We're going to try to get him on the show soon.
That's wonderful.
Really excited to get you in. If you weren't the Dean of Students, Lloyd, what do you think you would be doing?
If I were not the Dean of Students, I would be working in student affairs.
Really? Yeah.
I certainly would.
Yeah.
I think that there are times when we just have a calling in life.
Yeah.
And I think my calling in life is to be in student affairs, to be working with students.
Those are good words. Thanks so much for being with us this
Thank you
morning.
so much.
Sorry we've run out of time.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more of the Dr. Lloyd Holmes coming up next on Carolina People. How often does the dean give out his phone number? Doesn't happen very often. You know, a guy who doesn't want to be defined by his doctor of philosophy, but instead wants to be defined by his notion, his desire of giving back, making a difference, whether he's acting as the advisor to students taking active responsibility, or serving on the board of Habitat for Humanity, or giving of his time to the people in that community in Chile, or even picking up the phone and calling his mother every day, or calling his brother, or talking to his best friend in Houston. He's finding a way to give back. That interaction with students, it's a regular occurrence, not being defined by his doctorate, but instead being defined by interacting with students, making their lives better, hearing their problems, hearing their good days, and hearing about their bad days. It's finding a way to give back. 2 ears, 1 mouth. He knows it's better to listen, take the time to take it in, and then give a little something back. He's doing it every day, Dr. Lloyd Holmes.